Hey guys, we're doing 11.5 and the focus of 11.5 is really the axis of symmetry and just really investigating the symmetric nature of a parabola. Okay, the first part of your homework 1 through 6 is asking you to write a vertical motion parabola based on the parameters they give you. Don't forget that all of them start with -16 because that's gravity, and v sub 0 or initial velocity, okay, we're reading for that. So from a height of 36 and an initial velocity of 82. So you can see that they subbed in 82 in the example right there. All right. And then it said h sub 0 is a height, so you're looking for them to tell you a height. That's the 36, and that went right there. And the highlighting kind of covers over the numbers, makes it really hard to read. I'm sorry for that. All right, a catapult hurls a cantaloupe from a height of 12 feet and an initial velocity of 47 feet per second. So we're just writing a quadratic. Make sure you put, you can use f of x if you want, but we're going to use h of t, height as compared to time. They all start -16 for gravity, t squared. Then the initial velocity is 47. The sentence didn't say that first. Whoops, I wrote 4t. Don't go by the order of the sentence. Look for the keywords. Initial velocity 47, that goes first. Height of 12. So that's what you're doing in the first section. In the next section, you're asked to find the axis of symmetry, all right, and the vertex. So what's an axis of symmetry? Well, this was the pumpkin chunkin example from the textbook, and the axis of symmetry is that line that passes through the vertex. And the vertex of the pumpkin chunkin one was 4 and I think 324. That was our vertex. The axis of symmetry is this vertical line. Vertical line, vixen, x equals 4. And my pen's not cooperating again. Now, it's not enough to just write 4. You have to write x equals 4. So be mindful of that. Don't do shortcuts here. Okay, so I'll do 2. I'll do the example and I'll do number 8. So the example, we've got y equals -16. Let me clear this out. Squared plus 80x plus 24. Okay, now it wants you to find the vertex and the axis of symmetry. Now, the easy thing to do sometimes is to look for the axis of symmetry and the vertex right in the table. And you want to find that highest or lowest value. Oh, okay, so here we go. We've got 120 and 120. We have 2 highest values. Well, we can only have one highest value. So the vertex is between the 2 and the 3. So it's higher than this. So in this case, we probably want to look at the graph and do right bound, left bound. Okay, so we're going to have to go to the graph. Second, calculate maximum. Okay, now my blinky flower came over here. And that's to the right of the vertex, so I'm going to have to back up. Make sure I'm on the left, enter. Go to the right, enter. Guess, yes. All right, my max is we're going to call it 2.5 and 124. Okay, 2.5, which is what the example says, 2.5 comma 124. Okay, so the axis of symmetry is that vertical line right down through there. Now I hand drew it, okay? I don't know how to make the calculator do it. I don't think you can, because remember, axes of symmetry are x equals, okay, and our y equals is only y equals. So x equals 2.5 is our axis of symmetry. Okay, so we needed to do right bound, left bound for some of these. We may not have to do it for all of them. Let's look at number 8. Number 8 says 96 plus 32. Again, oops, that was 232. Okay. I always look in the table first, because in the table I can see the vertex in this one. It is the highest point, and I know that it's the vertex because all the other values are symmetric. So the vertex is 3 and 176, and my axis of symmetry is x equals 3. Don't get lazy. Don't leave out x equals. Don't write axis of symmetry is 3. No, axis of symmetry is not 3, because 3 is not a line. X equals 3 is a line, and the axis of symmetry is a line. Okay, so be careful about that. All right, the next part of your homework is talking about finding the axis of symmetry based on 2 points that are at the same height. For example, this point and this point are symmetric from each other. Okay, and the coordinates are, let's see, (1 and 180). Whoops, what happened? 1 and 180. (7 and 180). Now, I'd like to point out that the y values are the same. The y values are 180 for both points. Again, that's because points that are symmetric on a parabola are straight across from each other. They have the same y value. What they have that's different is x values. And if I'm trying to find, if I didn't already know, if I was trying to figure out the axis of symmetry a different way using 2 symmetric points, okay, finding the axis of symmetry a different way is take the x values, 1 and the 7, add them up, divide by 2. You're finding the average. So that's 8 over 2, which equals 4. And again, we don't just say 4, we say the axis of symmetry is x equals 4. All right, so let's do that on a homework question. All right, the x-intercepts of a parabola are 3, 0, and 9, 0. So we've got 3 and 9 for x values, and you can see they added them up and divided by 2. So the axis of symmetry is x equals 6. Okay? All right, number 14. Actually, let me skip down. Number 16. It doesn't have to be intercepts. It can be just any two symmetric points. Symmetric points have the same y value. But the x values are the ones we're working with. So negative, except I drew over that so I don't remember what it is now. Right, negative 1 and 5. So negative 1 plus 5 over 2. So the axis of symmetry is x equals 2. Yes, you have to write all that whole sentence out. You need to write that entire sentence. The last part of your homework wants you to determine the vertex of each parabola. Now, I understand that it's as simple as going into your calculator and finding it. There's a couple of different ways on your calculator. We already know how to find that vertex. You could use right bound or left bound, right bound from the graph. You can you look in your table. Sometimes the vertex is in your table, but this section of your homework really wants you to find these things algebraically and not so much with a calculator. So let me show you what they want you to do. If they're giving you the axis of symmetry, okay, your ultimate goal is to find the vertex. The vertex and the axis of symmetry is the same x value. So for my vertex, I already know that 4 is my x value. Okay, so to find my y value of my vertex, I'm going to sub in 4 for x. So f of 4 equals 4 squared minus 8 times 4 plus 7. Cancel. Okay. So 4 squared minus 8 times 4 plus 7. Ah, 4 squared minus 8 times 4 plus 7. Okay, negative 9. There we go, I got my vertex. Okay, number 21 does not tell me my axis of symmetry. And again, we're doing this algebraically, not in the calculator, okay? So, I don't know my axis of symmetry. Kind of need to know that in order to do this algebraically. What I do have is a pair of intercepts, so they're symmetric points, so I can figure it out. 2 plus negative 6 over 2, so that's negative 4 over 2 is negative 2. So my axis of symmetry is x equals negative 2. So for my vertex, I know the first coordinate of my vertex, the x-coordinate, is negative 2. Then I'm going to sub in. F of negative 2 equals, now critical, listen to this part right here, very, very, very important. When I sub in a negative number to something that's going to get an exponent, it is mathematically wrong, and your calculator will give you a wrong answer if you don't put the negative in parentheses. A negative value with an exponent needs to be in parentheses. It'll give you the wrong answer without, because without it, you're just squaring the 2. You're not squaring negative 2, you're taking the negative of 2 squared. It's kind of confusing, but just remember, if you have a negative with an exponent, it has to be in parentheses. Okay? So then that, again, goes in your calculator. Parenthesis, you have to put that negative 2. Make sure you're using the negative key, not the subtract key. Squared. Okay, negative 16. And there you go, you got your vertex. Okay? All right, and that's your assignment. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.